Hello, it is now 7:07 p.m. and a big welcome to you all to this week's edition of Community Conversation. For those wondering what Community Conversation is, it takes full advantage of remote technology to bring youth together with community members, leaders, and their peers all across this country. Yes, we're no longer here in Palm Beach County. We have young people on the line right now listening from at least 4 states. This 1 hour program deepens connections and provides discussion on a range of topics, including social, emotional issues, race, and inequality, improving relations with law enforcement, as well as post secondary education and careers. Let me say a big thank you to all the adults, all the parents, the grandparents, educators, and responsible community servants who join us each week to just share ideas and instill value in these young people. You are indeed making a contribution to your community. And for that, I want to say thank you very much. What a week this has been. So, Janaya, how was your week? I know you're driving, but how was your week? Miss Amara? Have a, you have a lot of a lot of noise background. That's fine, Janaya. How about Nia? Nia, how was your week? Miss Brown, how was your week?
My week was okay.
What was so okay about it?
Just had a lot of schoolwork to do.
Okay, okay, got you. All right, and DJ, I know you planted some beans this past Saturday, and I'm sure they sprouted sometime throughout the week. What else um, dominated the news this week, DJ? What are some of the things that dominated the news this week?
Just now, I watched the news and Donald Trump got positive for coronavirus.
Oh, he did. Okay.
Yes.
And what else? What else dominated the news this week, son? I know a lot was on the news this week. What else? Something else dominated the news. Who can help him? Who can help him? Do you know, Nia, what else happened this week on the news? What dominated the news the earlier part of the week at least?
Yeah.
What was that?
The debate happened this week.
Very well, very well, very well. The debate happened this week. That's correct. We had the first of 3 presidential debates on Tuesday, and did any of you guys watch it?
Yes.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, we're working on getting a sociology professor to explain to you how to disagree without being unkind, DJ. We're not going to get into it this week. We're going to talk about it in the coming weeks. Okay, we're working on getting someone to just talk about how to do debate, how to do things the right way. Okay, and so we learned a lot, as DJ said just overnight, that our president and the first lady tested positive for the coronavirus. We've been talking, folks, about COVID-19 every week since we began in February. What is the central takeaway from this development that happened overnight? What would you say the central takeaway is, DJ? What's the main point to be take from all this?
The main point to be taken is to just think about how dangerous this virus can be. Think if it got your president under the top secure facilities, then think just about what could happen to you and maybe take a think or two about who you should vote for. You're muted, Mr. Ciron. Mr. Ciron, you are muted.
DJ, thank you. That was beautiful. This is Miss Burton.
Thank you, DJ. Well said. You know, as you said that if it can affect or impact the president, who has all the security around him, and not only security, all the medical technology around him, and he gets tested every day. Look, we need to be careful and make sure we're practicing social distancing and doing everything that we need to do to make sure that we are safe. Okay. So with that said, I just want to say the takeaway, remember to keep our president and the First Family in your prayers. So young ladies and gentlemen, you have been back in school 2 weeks. And already I have been getting all kinds of reports. I've been getting reports from teachers, from principals, from all over. As I mentioned earlier, some of you guys had an opportunity, your first gardening project this past Saturday. And joining us is Miss Delina Johnson. Delina, you here with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Well, how are you?
I'm doing great. And you?
And another great day in South Florida on a Friday night. Now, guys, Miss Johnson is one of the students who was in that class this past Saturday. And where do you attend school, Miss Johnson?
I attend Dwyer High School.
Dwyer High School. Somehow I thought you were in the School of the Arts. Weren't you in the School of the Arts at one time?
Yes, I went to Bach Middle School of the Arts.
Bach Middle School of the Arts. So now you're in big school, so you don't focus on the arts anymore, but you focus on real subjects now. I know I'm gonna get beat up for saying that, but reading, writing, and math and all that good stuff.
Yes.
Okay. So you have an interest in some form of the arts. What were you? You're a singer, you're a dancer, you play the keyboard, piano. That was what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you will, tell us about this class on Saturday. What did you guys do last Saturday?
Last Saturday, we walked around the community garden, and we looked at the different types of plants. We now know what's the difference between a fruit and a vegetable, and a fruit has seeds while a vegetable does not. And we also looked at the different types of plants, such as the root plants, like the plants that grow in the ground. And we looked at the vines and how they differ from the plants, because the vines, they just grow along the flower bed while the plants grow straight up. And he gave us some plants to take home to grow with us. And he explained the different types of plants as well, and what they do and what they provide for us. And after that session concluded, we planted some seeds, and they are the sunflower seeds. We planted basil, tomato, and I believe the bell pepper.
Okay. Okay. So how are your plants? How are your seeds so far? Have you noticed any germination?
Yes,
so
the sunflower seeds sprouted, but since there was so much rain, some of the other seeds they drowned because
rain. Wow. Was it you left it outside?
Yeah, we left it outside.
Why?
Well, so it can get some sunlight.
No,
there isn't really a place to put it inside.
You could have put it at your window, and if it's gonna rain, wasn't it in one of those little small boxes?
Yeah, but there was something under the window. We have something on that window little sill, the little part.
Do me a favor. Find some corner in the house and put it in there. No, you leave it outside. You know what's gonna happen? It's just gonna get wet, and it's gonna just fade away, to just dissolve. And you got a large pot. Am I correct?
Yes, we also got a large part. So when the plant gets bigger, we could transfer it from the little one.
Got you. We see we're community gardens, guys. By the way, why is it so important? Why is this so important for communities to have these? We see where community gardens are popping up all across the county these days. Why is it so important that communities offer classes like these to young people?
It is vital that the community offers classes like these to young people because they could learn about plants and like how they affect our environment because they provide us with oxygen, and without plants, like it's not a good idea. And I really feel like the young children of today should be educated about like planting things because then they could start planting and growing things of their own, and they don't have to rely on going to the store to get fruits and vegetables.
Interesting. DJ, you were a part of the class as well, right?
Yes, sir, Mr.
Eh.
Srivan.
Anything you care to add to that, or she addressed it?
I have something to say about my plants, and me and Tristan's plants are thriving out right now because we have a little patio and we put it under the patio so at the same time it has some shade and it doesn't get wet.
Got you. All right. Well, guys, that is one of several classes that are offered for children here in our community, South Palm Beach County, and in fact, now with us being online virtually all over the country. In fact, that class is offered online. Just so happened that they went to the garden last week to receive their supplies. But that class is offered online. If you're interested, give us a call at 561-665-0151. or info@kopmn.org. That's info@kopmn.org, and your child can be a part of that class. Another program that's being introduced to young people in the community is Soaring Eagles Aviation Program, which introduces elementary age students to the field of aviation. The instructor, Mr. Dwight Marshall, is joining us tonight. Mr. Dwight, thank you, sir, for joining us. Mr. Dwight, you're there.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Tell me now, you are a pilot. How did you develop your interest in flying?
Well, for me, I grew up around the field of aviation with my father being a mechanic and my mother being more like in the safety aspect of aviation. And I just always had a fascination with airplanes from I was like 3 years old. I don't know if you guys remember the show Little Einstein with the little the red jet. I used to be my favorite thing to watch. So I always had an interest in aviation. And when I was living in America, going back and forth from the Bahamas, I would always want the window seat. I would always stay up for the entire flight just to see the wings move and everything like that, and watch the landing and everything. And every time I walk into the aircraft, I take a peek, and it's not really a peek, and I stand there and I stay looking at the cockpit to see everything that's going on in there. At that point, I didn't know everything that was going on inside of there, but over time, I just wanted to develop the knowledge about it. So as I grew up, I just got into flight simulation. I would go plane spotting, things like that. So I just kind of grew into the field, and then eventually I recognized how it could benefit me in life financially. And I feel like if you do something that makes you happy, it won't really be a job for you anymore. So that's why I grew into the love for aviation on all aspects. Some more than others, but on all aspects. Yeah.
Where you attend high school?
I attended high school at Boynton Beach Community High School right down there in Palm Beach County. I'm currently in Daytona Beach right now.
Okay, which school?
I'm at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University.
Okay, so you studied aviation at Boynton Beach High School?
Yes, I had a dual enrollment. Embry-Riddle has a dual enrollment program at Boynton Beach High School. So I took 47 credits worth of Embry-Riddle classes for free, all at Boynton Beach High School. I did maintenance, safety, flight dynamics, unmanned aerial systems, engineering. I did all of those while I was in high school, and I'm going to be graduating a year and a half early from here in my bachelor's, all because of Boynton Beach High School. So that's a program that a lot of people should take advantage of because it's all free, you know. So
that is awesome. That's great. What are you studying at Embry-Riddle?
I'm a major in aeronautics with a triple minor in aviation safety, air traffic management, and homeland security.
Okay, so you have been donating your time for the past year teaching these kids in our community about aviation. Dwight, why do you do this? What do you get from doing this?
I would say I like to teach and kind of share something that makes me happy with somebody else, especially at a young age. Because not to say that I didn't really have it, but I didn't have it from someone, my age. I would always have it from like, older guy in his 40s or 50s. So I can't really relate to someone like that. So I feel like if I could be somewhat their age, I'm only like maybe 7 to 10 years older than everybody in the class, that I could kind of share something that I have that makes me happy with them, and also, make them financially stable in life and do something that they love, and it won't really be a job, or find the same love that I have for it, because not too many.
No, continue. Not too many.
Yeah, not too many kids really, I guess, find fascination in airplanes like I used to, or like I used to when I was my peers when I was in elementary. But I would always see them stare up at the sky and stuff, and some of them just think it's not something that they can do. So I do it more so for myself, but also for them, because I find joy out of teaching. I like to teach. I like to tell people how things work and stuff like that. Just give them new knowledge, because I feel like you should learn something new every day. That's something that I like to do.
It's interesting, in the conversation with you, found out that there are, over the next 10, 15 years, there's going to be over 50,000 vacancies. 50,000 pilots will be forced to retire because of mandatory aviation. So by having programs like this now, Dwight, this is a chance to get these young boys and girls in the pipeline. So by the time they get to high school, they'll have a greater affinity, if you will, a greater love, a greater interest in aviation. That doesn't mean they're going to be all going to be pilots. There are a lot of jobs in the aviation field. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. You could be the front desk of a large corporation like Airbus or Boeing and make 6 figures just to answer a phone and open up a door. So aviation is a very broad field to be in, and I feel like any little job you could get in the aviation field will kind of have you set for a career. It doesn't have to be something extreme. You don't always have to go to the major mile, but you could always, yeah.
So I know that your typical class. What's a typical class like? What do you teach these kids?
I start them off with, just what they know. I ask them, I kind of let them teach themselves and kind of just correct where their weaknesses are. So DJ, who's part of the meeting right now, I would ask them, when's the last time they've been on an airplane, and what they liked about it, what they didn't like about it. And I asked them, what's their chances, or do they think they have a stronger chance to die in a plane crash or a car crash? Because a lot of them all say the same thing: a plane crash, a plane crash, a plane crash. And they don't understand that the chances of dying in a plane crash these days is like you could win the lottery 17 times before you die in a plane crash if you compare chances to chances, and little things like that. And then I asked them what was their favorite part about being on it, what was their favorite part about not being in an airplane, all these little things. And I let them teach themselves, and kind of just ask them questions that they don't know the answer to, but I'll let them try, and then I'll just correct it. So they kind of, they're kind of teaching themselves, and I just give them the pathway to figure that out. Yeah, so I'll start them off, with questions and stuff, and then later on in the class I'll give them quizzes, just small little quizzes, not really to put them in another school environment, but give them quizzes to make sure that they, paid attention and found something productive out of it, so they could go home and probably tell their parents or something like that. And before the whole COVID thing hit, we actually used to meet up in the Delray Beach Library every Saturday, the first Saturday of the month, in the morning, and I'll bring my model aircraft for them to break apart while I'm going through lectures and everything. And I had my whole flight simulator there so they could understand what it's like. Even though they all want to crash it, I bring it there for them to understand with the flight dynamics that are actually being in an aircraft. So that's how I learned. So I decided to let them learn it that way too, for the simulation program.
Okay. Well, for those out there who would love to have their kids be a part of this program, go ahead and send your comments to info@kopmn.org, info@kopmn.org, or you can call 561-665-0151 for more information. Tonight's segment is streaming live on KOP Mentor Networks as well as the Boca Raton Tribune's Facebook pages. I just got a few texts here. Dwight. There are quite a few interests. In fact, in the Raleigh area, do we have a program like this in Raleigh? But again, folks, this is a virtual program, so your child can join wherever you are. All you have to do is log in, and if you're interested in logging in, just contact that email address, and you'll receive information on that. That's info@kopmn.org, or you can call again 561-665-0151. Dina, make sure that number is in the chat in case someone is interested in getting it. Tonight's segment, or rather this segment of the show, is brought to you by Wellness Financial. We have had Wellness Financial now. This is our third or fourth week with them being one of our sponsors. And to tell us more about Wellness Financial and what they do in our community, other than sponsor Community Conversation, is Mr. Chris Harvey. Mr. Chris, how are you?
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Like I always say, man, it's Friday night. What else could I be doing? What else should I be doing than being with Community Conversation? Great having you with us. Tell us about Community Conversation. Wellness Financial. By the way, thank you so much for your generous support in making this happen for our young people.
Well, thank you for the time. Good evening, everybody. My name is Chris Harvey. I am a person.
Chris, go ahead and open your microphone. Open your camera, please. We have folks on Facebook and they can't see. They need to see you.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I don't have a camera. Actually, I'm at a computer that does not have a camera. So
okay,
let's get back. Let's
get back to you on that. Dina, find a photo that we can put up on him, please. And we'll come back to you again, Chris. Stand by. Folks, we're just days away, in fact, 3 days from October 5th, the deadline to register to vote in the November 3rd general or presidential election. If you're 18 or older and have not yet registered, please text 561-665-0151. And Mr. John or someone on his team will make sure that you're registered. Mr. John, what do you have for us this week?
All right, the focus of this week is registering to vote. I think in coming weeks, we can talk a little bit about kind of the different ways to vote, but you have to be registered in order to vote. And so I think we're going to kick it off with a short video, and then we'll have a QR code to show to you guys that you can literally put your phone up against the QR code to start the registration.
Wake up. The time for change is now. Will you be 18 on or before November 3rd? Have you recently moved or changed your name or marital status? Has it been at least 3 election cycles since you last voted? If the answer to any of these questions is yes, then this is a message for you. You can visit the link below and register to vote or update your status online today. It's as easy as that. There has never been a more important time to make your voice heard. Your face may be covered, but your voice still matters. Stay safe, stay strong, stay woke. Vote. This message is brought to you by Black Voters Matter and its partners. For more information about online voter registration, visit www.govotega.org/FAQ.
Thank you so much, Neil, for that. And are you able to pull up the QR code, or I can actually share that? I'll share. All right, so this is the QR code, and so you should be able to put your phone up against this QR code in order to start the registration. I will say, of course, October 5th is the deadline to register to vote in the state of Florida. And so just working through different organizations, helping get registered to vote. And then I think, of course, once you get registered, it's about educating yourself on the candidates, figuring out how you're going to vote, whether it's going to be vote by mail, vote in person, vote during the early voting period. And so I think the biggest thing this year is just make sure that you have a plan. You know, make sure that you educate yourself.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, go ahead and use that. Thank you.
Yeah, make sure that you educate yourself on voting. And again, if you need this QR code directly, just please make a comment on the comment box, and I can actually send you the actual QR code, picture of the QR code for you to share with your friends, register yourself. Just make sure that you register so that, you know, we can go and have a strong showing at the polls. And whether you're early voting or voting on election day, educate yourself and make sure that you are making the right decisions for you and your family. So it's more than just a general election. We have other seats, you know, local seats, other federal seats, other state seats that are up for election. And so again, register to vote, and that's what I got for you guys this week.
Super. All right, Mr. Harvey, we're back with you. Dina, you ready for me? Okay, Mr. Harvey, you there?
I am here.
Okay, Dina, there you go. Stand by. So, Mr. Harvey, tell us about Wellness Financial. Again, thank you very much for your support. It's important, guys, because Chris, the people on Facebook, they always complain when they can hear you and can't see you.
Okay.
So we're not only just WebEx anymore. We're on Facebook, and we're also on Boca Raton TV. So got to make sure that we make our viewers happy. So that's why we require and ask that you have a photo if you cannot be on camera. So anyway, tell us about Wellness Financial.
Well, I'm a personal financial consultant. I help families and individuals kind of chart their path forward in attaining and trying to reach financial goals, be it I work with a lot of first-time home buyers. I work with people struggling with student loan debt, and I like to think of myself as a solutions provider. Really kind of analyze what your situation is, and again, try to chart a path forward. I tell you true, Ron, I wasn't prepared to. I should always be prepared, but
you're always prepared, Chris. You're always prepared. Lame excuse. You're on national TV. You're telling the world you're not prepared now. Come on now.
You know why I'm not prepared? Because my focus is more in line with the young man I just spoke previously.
Which one? DJ, huh?
No, Mr. Stevenson, the one that just spoke about voting.
Yeah. What about it? What about it? What about it?
You know, I'm not going to say I put my business to the side, but, you know, I'm really energized about getting people out to vote. As a matter of fact, if I could share something with you.
Sure, you may.
Do this. Is that shared?
Seem like you're driving, huh?
Yeah. So as a matter of fact, I am being a part of a voter registration drive. Can you see that information?
Yes, we can. Very well. Very well.
So we're going to be in downtown Delray Beach this weekend. I'm almost of the perspective that this is the most important thing to me right now. Of course, helping people get some sort of economic power behind them is what I've dedicated my career to. But in partnership with that, expressing our voice to vote in this community is what I'm going to be focused on most for the next 32 days. So with that in mind, you know, this weekend, I'm a part of a team with United Believers, and we're going to have a bus. We're going to be going through downtown Delray and in the northwest, southwest parts of Delray, trying to inform people. We're registering people to vote on the spot. It will be the day before I think Monday is the last day you can register. So this will be as that young man that spoke before me so eloquently put it. This is a way to have your voice matter. So like I said, we'll be able to register people to vote. You can check your voter status right on the bus. Everything will be safe in terms of the pandemic. But if you can get out there, get out there. And if I could put in the chat room, it's actually Minister Greta Britt of United Believers that's organizing this great event. And if anybody wants to have more information, I'm going to put her phone number right in the chat. Please reach out.
Wonderful. Denise just said, I voted. That is so good. We have a few questions for you, Mr. Chris. What about unemployment? What about unemployment? What is that? What about unemployment? I guess, can people who are unemployed vote to a register?
Absolutely. And it's a good question. Yes, you don't have to be employed to register to vote. Just got to be 18. Also, a thing we're also kind of highlighting is that returning citizens, people who have been incarcerated and are now out, and there was a law that was passed recently. You are now eligible to vote. A lot of people don't know that, but we will help you with your registration as well.
Good. In fact, I have a question here. What about if we have outstanding debt that we need to pay? By the way, for the young people who are listening, there's a term for that that fee that you have to pay, Mr. Chris. That once you're free from the system, once you're no longer in the penal system, you have to pay a fee. What is that called, Mr. Chris?
I would think that's your fines, your court fines, any kind of probation fines. So it's great. Another great question. As a matter of restitution. Okay. As a matter of fact, there are several organizations right now that are helping people pay their fines. We'll have information for that. As a matter of fact, Mr. LeBron James, who's trying to go up 2-0 tonight, has donated a considerable amount of money earmarked for the state of Florida to help returning citizens with their opportunity to vote.
Okay.
Michael Jordan as well for older generation has donated a considerable amount of money.
And I have a question here. Even though I will be 18 after the deadline, can I still register now for next year's election?
That I do not know, but it's a good question. If you're in downtown Delray, give us a call and we can answer those questions for you.
And Mr. Chris, what number can they call?
561-789-4948. And again, that's 561-789-4948. That is the contact information from Minister Greta Britt of United Believers of Delray Beach.
Sounds good. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Hang in there, Chris. I'm sure we're going to be having some more questions. My screen here is just lighting up with questions from people from all over. So shout out time, guys. Shout out time. Shout out this week to one of our very own, Mr. DJ Blake, for his academic achievements. So DJ, you did your, Birdie told me that you did your diagnostics this week. And what was the result, son?
I got the high score in my class.
You got the highest score in your class. What does that mean? Tell me more.
I mean, so every year we have to take this test on iReady called the diagnostics, and sometimes our teacher
diagnostics. Okay.
Yep, our teacher would see who has the most, and I was the one who I had 645 points out of a possible 1,000, which is actually not bad, and I'm a 7th grade reader.
You're in the 7th grade now?
Not the 7th grade now, but I'm on a higher level than the rest of the people.
What grade are you in?
I am in grade 4 right now, so that's a 3-grade improvement.
Okay, good. So DJ, coronavirus, how do you spell that?
CORONAVIRUS, coronavirus.
Okay, that's all right. What about academic achievements?
Academic achievements, ACADEMIC space ACADEMIC No, ACHEIVEMENT.
Well,
Academic achievement.
you said EI. Speak to Miss Mackenzie. Maybe she'll give you a break on that. But you should be IE. We're gonna have to show you how you do that. I before E, or but it's IEVEMENTS. But that's all right. You were very close. 98%. That's just as good. All right. Good job, DJ. Thank you again. Now, were you tested in math as well?
There is actually no diagnostic in math. It is just there's no diagnostic in math because we only have reading.
Got you. And you know, DJ, your road dog, your sidekick, Jamesley. Okay, go ahead and I'll put the phone on mute. Put your phone on mute. Go ahead and mute your phone. Thank you. Jamesley, I've been getting complaints of reports from several teachers this past week, and how was your week? Jamesley. Asleep as usual. That's all right. Well, guys, we implemented here an open camera policy where your cameras will be on at all times, okay, in all our programs, whether it's the afternoon programs or morning programs. Why do you think that is so, Janaya? Why do you think we implemented that policy? Exactly. We need to be able to see your face at all times. What's wrong with this picture? Miss Brown, what's wrong with this picture? Here we have a student supposedly looking at the computer. What's wrong with that picture? Nia.
It's a doll.
It's a doll. There you go. Who would have thought that? That's how smart these kids are. That's how smart they are. So we know that it happens. So we want to be able to see your face. We want to see you guys engaged. And that will never happen with us. Right, DJ?
Yes, definitely.
Sounds good. Thanks to Healthier Delray Beach, guys, we're able to bring you community conversation each week as you interact with your friends and neighbors in the community. Please tell them to go ahead and like Healthier Delray Beach on their Facebook page and thank them for caring about our youth. Healthier Delray Beach happens to be one of our sponsors. Tonight's program is produced by Miss Joeldina Bazoo, who is a graduating student at Atlantic High School, and she's also at the Milagro Center here in Delray Beach. LaDanian Day Thomas, who also attends Milagro Center and Village Academy, is serving as our production intern. Mr. Neil Sunsky Noel is a proud product of KOP Mentor Network and Village Academy, and he's responsible for all the videos that you see. And that means he is our cinematographer. And very important person behind the scenes is Mr. Mario, who is our production manager with Boca Raton TV. Young people, it is so important that we give respect and credit to the people who make things happen for us. Okay, we spend time to show our appreciation. Folks, there's so many initiatives around the city of Delray Beach and South Palm Beach County to help bring this community together, and especially during these times of this uncertainty with the pandemic. One program we've been telling you about over the last couple of weeks is the city, and they have a lot of money to help pay your utility bills, as well as improvement to your properties. To tell you more about this program is Captain David Weatherspoon, the Director of Neighborhood Resources Division with the city. Captain Weatherspoon, are you with us? Okay. Said he was running late, so we'll get back to him. But he does have money to help with roof repairs, to help pay utility bills and other bills that may have been fallen in that delinquency stage between the months of February and to date. Okay, so we will make sure we have Captain Weatherspoon on, if not this weekend, for sure next week. I know he's attending the wake of his aunt now. So Dina, check the chat for me, please. Check the chat for me in case we have any questions in there. If you're interested, please call. Thank you. If you look on the screen, we have information on the program I just told you about, the utility program. There's another one of several services that are available in the city to young people. There are several services that are available to young people and their families. And we have an event. We have a series of events coming up for this community to help bring the community together. And with us is Mr. Dupree, founder and director of the EJS Project. And he has some great news for you. Pre, what's happening, brother? Dupree, get him off mute, please.
All right, I found the mute button. Hey, how you doing, C-Ron and everybody else? Good evening.
Don't feel bad, man. Don't feel bad. If I don't have people around me to do it, I get hung up on that too. I'm doing well, bro.
Yeah, that's good, man.
Yeah, so what do you have cooking, man?
Huh?
What do you have cooking?
Well, what we have cooking, man. I like how humble Mr. C-Ron is. You know, a lot of you guys, well, everyone on this call is familiar with Mr. C-Ron. Himself and Lieutenant Privateer from Delray Beach Police Department, we've been meeting behind the scenes, discussing a event. And the focus and the goal of this event really is to have community in mind and to unite the community. And we're trying to reach out and touch as many areas of the community as possible to be a part of this. And we even call it that. That's the name of it, the Unite the Community Challenge. To give you a little idea, still working on details. Anyone on this call who would love to be a part of it, we would love to have you. It's still early to reach out to C-Ron and myself, but it's going to be fun, guys. We got 5, potentially maybe 6 events. Because it's hard to let one go, but imagine kickball, dodgeball. We have an oratorical contest. We have a spelling bee. We have it's not just a regular spelling bee, but it's with the basketball. So you have to make your shot when you spell it. So it's a competitive kind of sport. And I mentioned the mural project and also a scavenger hunt. So we're going to have the chamber part with that. Each team, we're going to have minimum, we're trying to have 12 teams. It'll be 4 weeks worth of events, and we'll end with a championship week and identify, honor those people who accumulated the most points, those teams. The idea is to unite. So even though we use a competition to create that spirit, and fun on the weekend so people can cheer for their squad, everybody's a winner at the end of the day because all teams are made up of different players. So even example, the Delray Beach Police Department will have a team, but there will only be 4 or 5 members of the police department on that team.
So you're forcing them to get to know the police officers and vice versa, huh?
Absolutely, and that was our plan. So we reach out to the clergy, make sure our churches, different denominations are involved. Say it again, C-Ron. You have some of that?
No, I said you're forcing them to actually get to know the police officers, to know the kids, and the kids to interact with the police officers.
Yes, sir. So, so that's basically, ideally, our team will consist of, parent, community leader, couple, students, K through 12 age children, police department, local business, someone from the church. So I get a good mix. And ideally, you at least, 4 or 5 people from each team wouldn't have known each other before this process started. And hopefully by the end of the 4 or 5 weeks competing with each other to win the title to carry for a year, they have grown some type of relationship and learned a little more about Delray, other organizations, and even other businesses. So that's the goal. And, it's fun. It's even fun to talk about it.
Good. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Brother Malcolm Reed. Hey, man, how are you? Great having you joining us, bro. So good having you. Listen, Mr. Chris, Mr. Harvey,
Yes, sir.
I have a question here that just came over. What is the penal system? You use the word penal system. What does that mean? Stand by, Pre.
Criminal justice system.
The penal system is another word for the criminal justice system. And Mr. Dwight, my child is 8 years old. Is it too early to have him start flight lessons?
Can you hear me?
No, now we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Already.
Open your microphone. Open your microphone.
Can you
I
hear me?
mean your camera. Open your camera. There you go. Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
You can't. I wouldn't say start your flight training at 8 years old, but you could get like a discovery flight done. So that means you can go to like a flight school, or anybody who has an airplane with a license, and let your child, go up and go fly with them. I believe Mr. Ceron, I don't know if you informed them of it. The field trip he took to North Perry Airport, one of the one of the most high volume traffic general aviation airports in Florida. We went there and we took the KOP kids.
What is general aviation? What does that mean?
Single engine aircraft, anything that's more so for recreation. Just to enjoy aviation, not commercial airline flying or corporate flying. So any little single engine piston aircraft, stuff like that. So last year we took all the KOP members. They all got to fly in an airplane and move the flight controls once the aircraft was already at a good enough altitude. But
so they actually went up in the airplanes.
Yeah, they went up in the airplane. They flew around the pattern and everything. I believe they took them over to the shore. I didn't get to fly up with them, but from what I hear from the pilots, because I worked on a couple of the pilot aircraft too when I used to be an aircraft mechanic back in high school. So I know they took them up, took them around in the area, took them to the shoreline, and let them, take turns moving the flight controls and everything like that. So 8 years old isn't really the age to start flying lessons, but if you want them to hop up in the plane and see what it's like to fly right next to the flight controls, that's a good thing to do. Like $100.
If I recall, Duran, you were one of the students who went up in that airplane, right? One of those airplanes? DJ.
Yes.
And how was the experience? What was it like?
It was great. I had a lot of fun. But the field trip there was very long.
It was long, but it was fun. Okay, DJ, while I have you on the microphone, I have a question here. What is the secret to DJ success? How were you able to become so successful with school and with everything you do?
I just focus in class and write down notes, and I try my best. For example, sometimes if I get a question I do not know, I try and look into the passage for the right answer. And before I move on, I double check instead of just rushing through my answers.
Apparently, Mr. Chris and I are going to have to start taking a lesson from you, DJ. We're definitely going to need that to help us focus. Well, thank you. Now, Pre, what are the days the dates for the events? When does it start?
Okay, it's still very tentative, so don't lock us into this. But we plan on starting the first week, hopefully as soon as November 8th. So we want these to take place on a Saturday afternoon, around church. So it'll be after church, So between maybe 2 to 5, 2 to 6 o'clock, we'll be out there at the park. I should mention, I think it's important, Ron, that our goal is to move around the city a little bit. So we won't be at the same park every week, maybe Miller Park, maybe Pompey Park, to get a feel of different areas. We definitely, still being mindful of COVID and distancing guidelines and things, but we do want people to start coming out, having fun, participating, cheering on their team, supporting their loved ones. That's what's going to make these events successful. So again, 4 to 5 weeks on a Sunday, hoping to end the week of the 6th, December 6th, the last Sunday.
That's one of the questions that just came in. What about COVID? How can we ensure that we're safe out there, practicing social distancing. But
Mhm.
Supreme, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna beg you, please, between now and the end of the month, I'm gonna have you come back and just keep
Okay.
reminding people of this. Everybody who's listening to us right now need to be there. Even if you're out of town, call us up. We'll make sure Mr. Dwight has a pilot's license. He's a pilot. I have access to airplanes. We'll make sure you get here. Right, Mr. Dwight? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I think we should ask C-Ron because if you're anything like me, you probably already decided want to probably be on the team. I saw DJ get a little excited. We heard kickball and dodgeball. So that's good. We like that excitement. So reach out to one of us, get your name added to the list, because here's the thing. Some of these teams are going to be 12 teams. So some of these teams are going to only have about 5 or 6 people on them when they first sign up. So we're going to fill them up with a draft. So put your name in the hat so you can be drafted and placed with a team. So we definitely want as much participation as possible.
Okay, sounds good. Wow, we certainly heard a lot of information tonight, guys. So much information, I can hardly breathe. Good Lord. Speaking of breathing, the Milagros Center is spearheading another project, a joint project. They did one a few months ago. You probably remember we had the We Are the World project, where we all got together as a community. Some of us, I remember hearing you trying to sing, speak for yourself. And anyway, they're going to do another one now, and it's called Mr. Anthony's here to tell us more about that. I Can Breathe project. Thank you. Anthony, tell us, Mr. Anthony, by the way, is the teen director at the Milagros Center. Why don't you tell us about this initiative, brother?
Thank you so much, Mr. C-Ron. So we did the I Can Breathe time capsule further back, like about 2 months ago. And the concept basically is to, at this time during COVID-19 and Black Lives Matter, there are a lot of issues that facing us where it's stopping us from breathing. So the term I can't breathe, we want to turn it around and say, I can breathe. And in order to breathe, you have to make a difference. So the difference we want to make is to encourage people, to challenge people to vote. I know you had a lot of people speaking about voting. So definitely we want to challenge people to vote. But in addition to voting, we also want to reach out to the students and empower them and give them encouragement for them to attend these Zoom classes, because a lot of them have been failing grades. I looked at the last fourth quarter, and a lot of teens have not been having good attendance and so forth. So what we want to do is to challenge the teens to manage yourself and bring your grades up. So we did the time capsule and from the Milagros Center, and now we're asking the community and we're asking the whole of United States to take on that challenge in terms of so that you can breathe. So we want to vote. We want to practice more acts of kindness. We want to be more aware of Black Lives Matter. And of course, healthy food sustainability. So we have a couple of people here. We have also Miss Leah. Leah, are you there right now?
Yes, I am.
Thank you so much for joining us. Leah is from Maya Angelou Foundation. I know that. Leah, if you could take a minute just to tell us a little bit about Maya Angelou Foundation and how you can participate in the time capsule in order to breathe.
Sure. So I am in the DC area. We have the See Forever Foundation and Maya Angelou schools. And we have schools, high school, a school for young adults, and a school for incarcerated youth. Because we believe that they deserve a quality education as well. And Anthony and I go way back, and I love the work that he's doing at the Milagros Center. So we've been trying to figure out ways in which we can support each other in our efforts to reach young people. So putting together the time capsule, this is the great time to be able to capture what's going on in this time and space in our country, in this time and space in the DC area, all of the things that are pulling on the attention of our young people, and have them channel that into developing a time capsule to kind of capture everything that they're dealing with. We too have challenges with making sure that the students are signing on because they're used to being in the classroom and used to that touch. But we do have to function a bit differently now. And so we're trying to empower our young people to take charge of their own education, sign in, and do some of the things that they know will propel them to a brighter future. So we're looking forward to our aspect of the time capsule and seeing how what we do looks like from the DC area as you do in your area.
Thank you. And of course, we have a couple other people on here. I know time constraints, so I just want to acknowledge Mr. Marlon and Sandra here. I also ran it by Miss Jacqueline also. So this was an opportunity that we just wanted to share with everyone. Mr. Siran and I will definitely follow up some more. We're looking to doing the time capsule somewhere by the 15th of this month. It's not going to be just one day because everybody can do it at the same time. So we will have a time span where people can do it at different times. And also you could determine what length of time, whether it's a year or 2 years or whatever. So I'm going to go back to Mr. Siran because I know that time constraint, but I would just wanted to say thank you for this opportunity. Thank you, Leah, for joining, Sandra, Mr. Marlon, and everybody. And we're going to reach out to many other people. This is just a sample from the Boys and Girls Club and all around. And we want to encourage everybody, Miss Lamb, Miss Leah, I want to encourage you also to spread it out there. You could take the lead in Washington. And
what's the date on this again, Mr. Anthony?
We opened the date, so we're trying to execute it by the 15th of October.
All right, sounds good. We still have time to come back with that next week. We are 2 weeks away, so we'll have an opportunity for you to come back and tell us more. Give us an update next week, guys. I've always been one to say that DJ. What have I always said about when you make a plan? Neil, do you remember what I always say about when you make a plan? What do I always say?
Always have a backup and a contingency.
Always have a plan, a backup, and a contingency plan. Dina, what was the topic scheduled for this week?
This week we're supposed to talk about the importance of SAT.
Importance of the SAT, the relevance of the SAT, and how we go about making sure we do well on the SAT. Not sure if the folks from the SAT, the College Board, got scared or what when they saw that topic, the relevance of the SAT, but no one showed up. But always, guys, like I always tell them, always got to have a plan, a backup plan, and a contingency plan, because if we didn't have all these speakers lined up today, Miss Jacqueline, folks would have been looking at us like, 1 hour wasted. And as long as we have community conversations, DJ, y'all gonna learn something, okay? So I am so glad. Thank you to all our speakers today for stepping in at the last minute. And like I said, Dina, we know how to squeeze a lime and get anything we want out of it and everything we want out of it. Guys, that will about do it for this weekend, this edition of Community Conversation. I certainly hope you learned something tonight that will make a significant impact in your life. Young people, like I've always said, there's no greater investment that you can make on a Friday night than being with like-minded peeps on Community Conversation. Hey, you got Mr. Dupree on tonight. You got Mr. Anthony on tonight. Folks are calling in from Washington, D.C. Maya Angelou. Speaking of which, we're going to try to have you back, ma'am, so you can tell us about Maya Angelou. Many of us don't know who she is. What was that?
I said most definitely. That's a brilliant opportunity.
Yes.
To Washington last year, and I would love, it's a great opportunity to cross the bridges.
We're gonna make it happen. In fact, let's start working on this now, because my plan is to take some kids to the inauguration again this year. We've gone to 3 inaugurations. and my plan is to take them to the new inauguration come January. Hey guys, like I used to tell you, the best is yet to come. Next week, we have another great show lined up. Again, tonight's show was produced by Dina Bazul, a student at Milagro Center, and LaDanian Day Thomas. Neil from Village Academy, and thanks again to our guests, and a big sincere shout out to Boca Raton Tribune for simulcasting us on Facebook. Again, thanks to our sponsor, Blank New Look Barbershop, Healthy Delray Beach, and Wellness Financial. From all of us here, have a good night, and please, folks, wear your mask, practice social distance. COVID is still with us. Good night.
Thank you, guys.